Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Van Ross, and for most of you don't know me. And the topic I chose was, is uncertainty reduction avoidable? In 1975, Charles Berger came up with a theory called uncertainty reduction. So what is uncertainty reduction? Uncertainty reduction, it explains how communication is used to reduce uncertainties between two strangers engaging their first conversations together. The big question is, can uncertainty reduction be avoided? I believe no, because you have to have some type of uncertainty reduction strategy to get information about that person. With all the research I have gathered, the four topics I will be talking about today is Charles Berger's entire uncertainty reduction theory. I will be telling you guys if uncertainty reduction can be avoided by any means, and what I personally thought uncertainty reduction was before and after my research, and the strategies you often use with uncertainty reduction. In 1975, Charles Berger came up with the uncertainty reduction theory. He found that during initial encounters, people are motivated to find out information from one person to another. So some questions you can ask on your initial interactions is, where do you work, where do you go to school, and what you do for fun. These are some simple questions you can ask to find out more information about that person. In Charles Berger's uncertainty reduction theory, he included 8 axioms. The 8 axioms are verbal communication, nonverbal warmth, information seeking, self-disclosure, reciprocity, similarities, liking, and shared networks. Charles Berger's 8 axioms are part of relational development. The next big question is, can uncertainty reduction be avoided? I believe no, because there's too much motivation to find out information on that other person. One article that I came across was Hands-on Experience with Uncertainty Reduction Theory, an effective and engaging classroom activity. In this article, the teacher tells her class how they will be doing a classroom activity, so she assigns the students groups without letting the students pick their own groups. The big question was, will the students initiate conversations to reduce uncertainty? From the beginning of the experiment, it was clear that the kids had an increase in verbal communication. When the students continued to talk, the teacher saw an increase in nonverbal expressions such as smiling and laughter. Reciprocity occurred in all the students' conversations, when each student asking the same question back and forth to each other. When the students' conversations grew and talking about different subjects, the students' intimacy grew and started the feeling of liking. What the teacher also found out was that the groups that had more similarities appeared to be more relaxed than other groups, and they also sat closer together, which displayed a high level of comfort. With groups with less similarities, noticed that the children felt indifferent and sat farther away from each other. The purpose of this group was to see how students would use uncertainty reduction. We can conclude that the experiment that there is no way to avoid uncertainty reduction. Next, I will be talking about what I thought uncertainty reduction was before and after my research. What I first thought uncertainty reduction is that the thought of people meeting up for the first time and trying to reduce that initial awkwardness. I came to realize that we use uncertainty reduction all the time in our lives. For example, this semester I had a group communication class. Our professor put us all randomly mixed up in groups. On our first day of class, our groups was a little awkward because it's a lot different than talking to just one person. You have to include a whole group when you have a conversation. My group soon realized that if we reduce uncertainty and got along with each other, then we would be quite successful as a group. What I also learned off my research was that you can use uncertainty reduction in many ways. For example, on social media, all you have to do is type in their name and their profile pops up with all their posts and photos and other general information that you can find out about that person. I've learned so much about uncertainty reduction after my research than I ever thought I would. Lastly, it is important to know and understand the strategies we often use with uncertainty reduction. The first strategy of uncertainty reduction is the passive strategy. This is when you observe a person from a distance. You're observing their conversations, their nonverbals, and how approachable they are. The next strategy is the active strategy. The active strategy is finding out about another person from a third-party person. The active strategy can be a little bit risky because if that person finds out you are asking about that person, it may cause some problems. The next strategy is my favorite strategy. It's called the interactive strategy. It's a face-to-face interaction asking someone questions to acquire information about that person. To me, this strategy reduces the most uncertainty, and that's why it's my favorite. The final strategy is called the extractive strategy. That's when you are getting information about another person from an online source. As we go through life, we will meet new people and you will have different experiences with those people. I do believe Charles Berger's theory of uncertainty reduction is true, and there is no way to avoid uncertainty with the initial interaction. In this video, we have learned Charles Berger's entire uncertainty reduction theory, including the axioms. If uncertainty reduction can be avoided by any means, what I personally thought uncertainty reduction is before and after my research, and the strategies you often use with uncertainty reduction. Knowing and understanding uncertainty reduction can help you throughout your life when having the first interaction with a person you have never met before.